which was a new idea that he had, which I wanted to develop analytical models, had done some testing, and proved that the idea can be transformed into actual practice. So, when they read my resume and all the other stuff, they figured that this is a very good fit for that company. I go there, I've talked to them already, they're very positive. The job is, we need an R&D engineer, we have just the right credentials, I go there. This is one of the last ones, before I took many other jobs, or tried for many other jobs. So, I show up there, and of course, Mr. Kennedy's jaw drops. I had no cars. My other colleague was Mohinder Singh, Mo Singh. He had a car, he also was a Sikh. There were 3 Sikhs in India, in Houston at that time. I was one of the 3 Sikhs. And so he took me there, so he's waiting outside, I just go there, John Kennedy's jaw drops. But very quickly he finds out when he starts to talk that I'm a very normal person. I speak English, not as fluently as I do now, but speak English quite well. And I can explain what I've done and how it can benefit the company. And they had some rotary shaft sealing issues and problems. And I could just intelligently talk about how I can implement that. Pretty soon he started to warm up to the idea that maybe he's a good candidate regardless of his looks. Then comes the president of the company. It was a private company at that time. Now it is part of big conglomerate, Baker Hughes, etc. So he comes, the president, I don't remember his name. He came, he was equally shocked to see me because there was no person that looked like this. Houston was a very provincial city. There were total of 300 Indians in the entire Houston at that time. I was the secretary of the Indian Student Association. I used to have the names and have meetings, so I knew most of them. So in any case, he came and he was equally shocked. So Mr. Kennedy, who's warmed up to me a little bit, he tries to give a positive spin on the fact that, just try to show how well I can do. Okay. That notwithstanding, Mr. Kennedy gets a telephone call, and it's the secretary of the president who's calling, we have an international phone call that you must attend right away. So he had to excuse himself, goes there to attend this international call, and after a few minutes, he comes back, and the tone of what was an imminent job offer was changing to a future opportunity. So the phone call was the item that I know that Mr. whatever his name was, the president had already told him he can't have this person. He looks too strange. So, in any case, that's at the beginning of self. So what did I do? That did not create me any setback. I took on a job, and this is another experience, showing how we don't take no as an answer, anything. What job did I take up? Okay, even though we are trying to get jobs as a co-op student some places, but again, the same barriers are encountered. But there was one company that was also had a name on the list of, they're looking for some student to come and work there, new graduate. So I have finished my master's degree in engineering, and this was called Isaacson Chain and Belting Company. Okay, what do they do? They really were a distributor for automotive spare parts. I've never done any such thing here. So there were big registered phone calls are to be made. So there's a storage of many different parts. So he said, okay, we make these, we buy many components, these are automotive repair kits, etc. And most of them are already sold to the people. They call by phone, we attend to that. That's a job you do initially. But I have long-term plans. You have an engineering degree. My goal is to be able to start making some of the components. So there is a potential for you to apply your engineering capabilities and oh, that sounds good. Okay, I said, I'll start up. At that time, the going salary for a master's degree person was about $850, $900, roughly $1,000 maximum. Okay, I probably started at $300 an hour, $300 per month, $350. It was good because it brought in more than I was earning as a student at the University of Houston as a graduate, just going there and taking meter readings or grading papers and stuff like this. So there was a more salary. So I just kept my chin up and keep on going. So when he had told me that after 6 months we'd have a review, and I had been talking about how we can make a difference. And after some time, he just goes back and we had not really talked about what we can make and what kind of products. There's some I can suggest. He says, yeah, I think those are the ones we will do, and you've done well. But the amount of increment that he gave me was maybe such a meager amount that I knew that really, even though I had positive goals to be able to make a difference, his thinking is too small. He's not going to make a difference. So I had to start looking for another job. I kept on working there, but lo and behold, as Durga said, you don't take no as an answer. That doesn't stop the show. So I still have a beard and mustache, and I'm still looking for a job. I have a master's degree, and then comes a job opportunity at Hara Controls. Robert Hara, he was a non-graduate, non-degree person, but he was very smart. He was looking for somebody to come with some engineering background to be able to pursue his dreams. Okay. He made hydraulics and pneumatic control systems. And I was eager to always learn and make a difference. So I took up a job, go there, take the job, and he was not shocked. He had seen some Sikhs in the past, so he was talking about Sikhs and other things, so no problem. And so gave me the job as a design engineer, started to work with him, and very quickly, the job's salary that he offered me was $500 a month. Instead of 800, 900 or so. It was a step up, but it was engineering or hydraulics and pneumatic control company. So Mr. Hara was a great teacher. I learned a lot from him. Every morning I'll go there. He was very respectful. He made an office for me right next to his. He said, I can, you are the engineer and the draftsman and whatever, I can call you the manager of engineering or manager of research and development. I said, Mr. Hara is very flattering to me, but I have not earned that yet. I'm just a design engineer. So please keep on the card just title, just a design engineer. That was the title. So that continues on, and I have $500 a month after I'd actually submitted my thesis. And at that time, he was afraid that I might go on to somebody else. I was almost ready for my master, but my thesis was at that time just to be defended. After the defense, he upped my salary to $800 a month. So, big jump. So then he started to respect my contributions and so on and so forth. So this is another story. Okay. My reason for leaving him was not because I was not paid well for my Sikhism, etc., or being a Sikh, or not being passionate. My reason for leaving him was my experience showed, in spite of being a great teacher, some of the first ideas that I invented. My passion is to invent, develop new things. Some of the very first patent that I invented or idea, I wrote up all the patent application. I never got my name on that as a patent, as a co-inventor. I helped the lawyer, the attorney, the patent attorney, draft everything, review everything, and then when it came time for me to be able to ask him, how come I'm not listed as an inventor? I was afraid to ask him because I was married at that time. I had 2 children, and I thought if I get fired, I may have no money coming. So I was very shocked to see that the unethical behavior of my boss, even though I honestly owe him a lot for having taught me hydraulics and pneumatics. But this was a big factor. And I didn't even tell my wife that my name was not in the first patent, and that I did not take him to task. Because I was saying, well, she may say, no, you need to go and talk to him. So these are personal stories, but they lead up to what we talk about, the positive things, lessons learned. Okay. So I left the company at that time. After I've done second patent, I was able to, before I left the company, another new idea I came up with, it was called vibration detector for compressor stations, totally new, using the principle of Rollamite. Many of you mechanical engineers might know Rollamite principle. It used that, proved it, worked on it, and came up as a good product. And again, when the patent time came, he was going to do the same thing. But this time, I told my wife, I said, now we are married, I have some savings, so I could say that this is what's happening. What do you think? I feel that really is not right. She says, absolutely, we cannot let him get away with this. You must confront him. And so I did that. And he was then at that time able to reverse his position. He was not going to put my name in there. He put my name, but the fact that his unethical internal belief was something that I said, I cannot stay working for him for the rest of my life, because there'll be some other issues in spite of his goals. Then I went on to valve manufacturer. Again, barriers to entry. I sent an application. There's a big newspaper article. There's a company that's been acquired. It's called Valve Manufacturing. It's called PS&B Controls. They are acquired by WKM Valves, which is ACF Industries. They're moving from Kansas to Houston. And they will be doing R&D. They'll be making new products. That's my passion. I want to go to let it fly for the company. So I picked up a newspaper, sent in a letter, goes to the personnel department, it sits there. No response. First week, I check, call, no answer. Second week, they'll be looking at it. We received it, we're looking at it. No answer. Third time, I picked up Yellow Pages. If you know what Yellow Pages are, these are telephone books that have names. At that time, it was easy to be able to use like Dr. Agrawal just said, Dr. Purva Agrawal. Okay, so in any case, I was able to call the receptionist, ask for the director of engineering to talk. She says, NANO, who you want to talk to, director of engineering, and what's the purpose? I think I have some idea that I want to be able to discuss with him. Okay, Mr. Kemp will be with you shortly. So she connected me that right away. I told him my reason for calling was because of this potential for R&D. You acquired a new company. I'm interested, I'm passionate about R&D, developing new products, so I would like to come. So that was my objective. So I go there, and certainly Mr. Kemp is a very great person. He said, okay, yeah, we want to make a difference. I would like to be able to hire you. We can interview you and can start the job. That's where I stayed for the next 10 years. Going back to after we had started to have some money, some savings, that came only after I started my own business. But the reason for leaving my own business was also not because I was dissatisfied with the company. It was that I wanted to acquire something which was my burning passion. And that's a theme that I want to leave. You need to find champions who have a burning desire. They are champions, they have a passion for doing something. Each organization has many naysayers, but there are some champions. So we need to look for those champions in each organization. And who they are, they're not driven by financial success only. They're driven by personal goals. They want to make a difference. If you can find those people in Panjab Engineering College, at this university, then you're one step ahead in terms of being able to make a difference. So my passion was to start my own business, regardless of how much I was respected at the WK Valve company. Many other companies wanted to attract me away by giving more money, several times more, several percentages higher, but I was not driven by that. So I left the company to start my own business. That is now 47 years ago, this September. So fortunately, my passion and my drive to make a difference is what led me to doing these things here. So one of the key points was, from lessons learned, passion is what drives many of us. Right, Durga, me, many of you are sitting here, you're passionate to make a difference. But we need to find how we can transform that into applying it to making a difference at institutes that gave us such a strong fundamental foundation on which we have built our success. So that's what we need to be able to do. Then, going back to my personal experience with the Panjab Engineering College and the Alumni Association, to be able to make a difference there, which was negative, unfortunately. But I wanted to do that because lessons learned are not static. They are to be remembered, and we need to look at what can be transformed now. So, 2017 is the big culmination of our previous 10, 12 years of effort. Not by just myself. I grew up in New Delhi. I went to Panjab Engineering College, government college in there to get my pre-engineering, and Panjab Engineering College for my engineering degree. But there were some other day scholars, we used to call them. Day scholars mean they were the Punjab, they were the Chandigarh University, they were Chandigarh residents. So there were 3 of us who became very close friends. Many more, but for 3 or 4 of us. Arun Sopti, Kapil Nanda, Manmohan Ahuja, myself. Okay, we used to hang out together, play games, do the topo. When the homework is due, they'd come to my office. The drawings are due. I was very good at that. I made good drawings. They do the topo, pass the class. Okay, so all of that was being done. So we were very close buddies. After we moved here, I came in '67. Others followed within 6 months to a year later, and then we started to be able to still bond as soon as we could, start to get together. But after they had all achieved some professional success, some personal success, and had families, Arun Swapti he became the general manager of Motorola's, one of the divisions. Kapil Nanda started a info game. It's a software company, which he just sold about 4 years ago. Had set up a huge place even in Bangalore, as well as in Southern California, in Cupertino, California. So he was very successful. He was from aeronautics, but he did a software company. Manmohan Ahuja, we called himself Monte Ahuja, because Manmohan was too difficult, people called him Monte, so Monte Ahuja. He built a company which was based upon his master's thesis. He presented to his boss. He used to work for a supply store, a distributor of the automotive transmissions. And he actually wrote the thesis with the implementation in mind at that company, so to transform it. His boss did not accept it. He said no, it was too much of a risky thing for him. He left the company, started his own business. About 5 years or 10 years later, acquired that company, and he made a huge global impact. He just used his computer knowledge, which others were not using at that time, to be able to do this global transmission called TransStar. That was the company's name. So he was very successful. So as we are visiting individually, then we started to about 15 years ago, 2010 or 8 time frame, started to have not just 4 of us, let's get more alumni together. And so we started to meet every year. The goal was to be able to get every one of us to be able to see how we can make a difference at Panjab Engineering College. So each year we'll give some tasks. There will be some local day scholars, they go to visit their family. They had a task to go visit this professor or that professor, give the message and come back. Okay. So this was done for a number of years. Ahuja was the most committed. He also had more flexibility and freedom. He could fly his own private jet and go there to Punjab University, get the people, audience, etc., come back. So as a result, it culminated in 2017. He and I had committed a Sangela. We both believe in giving, but we both are very skeptical of misuse of the funds. And that is just like Durga mentioned. We want to make sure there's accountability. Passion, okay, then comes accountability. If you don't have accountability, just to make ourselves feel good that we are financially successful, that we can give, is not a good reason. We must make sure it makes a difference. So the accountability will be ranking the highest, in my opinion, in this lesson learned. Making sure we find a champion and then have accountability from the institution and the people involved. Because even though, Durga gave the example through Fidelity, okay, our own plan was, Mahamungo Ujja, he went the business route. He had made a detailed milestone goals. So, okay, based upon information I've received, here's what we will expect of milestone accomplishments, and we will give this much of money at each milestone, not all bundled at one time. Believe it or not, despite all the effort, despite visits here to Houston, as well as my visits there 2 or 3 times, directors will change, new director comes in, the milestones were never accomplished. So it really is unfortunate that our transformation, our passion did not transform into a positive difference that Ahuja has achieved. Why? I don't know. Maybe Punjab government, maybe the Punjab administration, maybe Delhi administration, they all are different. I don't know. Each institution has different constraints. But one common denominator is that many of them, at least in this Punjab Engineering College, they did not really feel that there's anything for them personally. Okay, so I think some of that one can say is selfish, some of that is just a basic recognition. So I think that if you look at it, in addition to finding a champion with a passion, I think that the universities there or institutions can have a department that actually is committed to not only, they're paid for, they're not just a side job. For example, the Dean of Alumni Affairs, he had teaching responsibilities too, but he did not really achieve his goal. He was passionate, but he was not given enough time and enough money from the institution to support our goals. Our first goal was, we said, okay, we want to be able to give enough money to take the laboratories, which we strengthen materials, hydraulics, civil, etc., all these laboratories. They were in first class condition in 1967 when we went there. They were actually, the standards were equal to IIT, just the same. And right now we went there, we were appalled, looking at the fact that nothing has been done since then. In fact, the equipment is deteriorating, nothing new is being added. So the first thing we said is that we would like to be able to transform this laboratory area. That's the commitment we can make. Okay, never happened. Why? Because the government cannot accept this money for this purpose. Why? Well, I don't know the details. Manmohan Ahuja does, but it was really a barrier to even implementation of the money which would be directly applied for making a building, a construction and project, and something else. Manmohan Ahuja, like Durga has donated very generously and has good recognition from Cleveland State University. Okay, he built the Ahuja School of Business in Cleveland. Okay, and he also has the Ahuja Medical Center in Cleveland. Yes. In addition to giving money for operation, he gives also for making the transformation of the buildings. Unfortunately, these are the negative things that we found. And it's not that I've given up yet. Okay. If we really find, because I just learned from Durga just a few days ago, that there's a UGC. What is UGC?
University Grants Commission.
And what is the objectives and what does it actually do? And what will it, so how will it make a difference?
Government of India body for education, promoting higher education in the country.
It's
Okay.
more like a regulatory body.
It's a regulatory body. So it defines what are the courses that
Standardize and set up protocol.
So is it in fact, you think, maybe somewhat more effective in being able to make this transformation? Or is that, yeah? So in which way? How will it?
The quality of, the qualification for recruiting the faculty members, the firms, and everything is decided by the UGC only.
Right.
So, secondly, the course curriculum, what kind of courses they need to offer.
Right.
Flexibility that is being given, like we are talking about the third universities also being allowed to partnership with the universities in India. So all those are permissions that is required earlier, so that is being given by the UC. Now, there's a directions, the recommendation that we can go beyond that also. So that is what I think they are enforcing, and we need to follow that in that spirit.
Right, right. Okay, my other question ends up being, so there was the passion, and also why do the people within our previous institutions, after we leave, are they not being recognized for doing the work that will promote the university to go to rise to higher standard by collaborating with the others? Because if they're not recognized, if they're not compensated, they can't spend the time. They have some other responsibilities. So is that still a barrier, or is there some change in the institutions that are taking place that can be beneficial?
See, as far as incentivizing faculty is concerned, that is still not the criteria. Obviously, you need to be self-motivated. For example, somebody is being given an assignment, like he's the director of Center for Instrumentation Laboratory. So I think it's his own passion, his own vision, to get things done. And I think we have seen certain projects that we presented last week in Bangalore. I think some other industry project that he's pitching over here also. I think we need to identify people like those only who have that fire the belly which you're talking about. So there is no such special incentive being given, but yes, there are people who have that vision, who have that maybe zeal to work. So once we have a good team, I think it can be done. It is being done.
Right. So, for example, at the University of Houston, there's a whole organization that's committed to coordinating activities internally and externally to bring in the money and to really tap into the right resources, professors, chairmen, others, So it's their job. They get paid for it handsomely.
Yeah. One point I'd like to make over here is that, like in our university, we do have now a policy in place. For example, for consultancy, if you take up any industrial assignment and you bring money to the university and you carry out the work, so 70% of the money that is paid by the funding agency is given to the principal investigators. So whosoever brings that, so that is a sort of incentive. So if somebody has that capability and zeal, and I think they are now fairly compensated. So it's a big amount. Even 30% is also where that is also a sort of money kept in the university, just because some university resources are being used, overhead charges. But there also we have given the flexibility. If yes, you want to develop your own offices, your own laboratory, you will do that also. 70% is exclusively your intellectual, maybe money that you get for the contribution that you do. It's completely your money.
Okay.
30% is also for your office work and everything. That you cannot take it for personal purposes. Yes, for your office and other if you prefer to purchase, you have given that flexibility.
Okay. So there's some possibilities of being able to utilize that part of the organization. Yeah.
So maybe we'll be proposing tomorrow, when we find out and sum up the whole thing, setting up of certain chairs, endowment chairs, or chairs by the alumni, or chairs by industry, which can take the faculty to a different level. So that would be a good idea, probably within the ambit of the so-called rigid system we have. So things can things like these can be rolled up.
Right.
We can think in new directions. We don't want to offend the system right away. We want to bring in subtle changes, but those changes have to be very impactful.
Right.
So that's the point.
I think I have submitted the proposal for chair.
And particularly one point which you mentioned regarding Cardiology College, I'm also aware of that. Yes, there are some bureaucratic hurdles. For example, if you give money, like a particular equipment that we purchase, we need to follow certain processes. If that money comes to the institutional account, I think the best thing is that if somebody can purchase that and directly get it, maybe deliver it to the institution, there should not be any problem.
At least in kind, rather than giving money.
I think we did
kind.
that. We did this time, and when it comes to this, in the department, and
Right.
completely had that alumni launch, I think. So it was completely done from outside. Let's keep it out of that university audit system and everything like that.
We have a
So we
alumni
do that.
association in the department, so we take the money in that account and because it has a separate accounting system, which has nothing to do with the university.
Excellent, yeah.
Easier to do.
Yeah, so
But I
that's-
find in PEC right now, because I also work closely with them, I have a project with them. So there are people who are very keen and very energetic. I don't know, if you come to Chandigarh anytime, I can come along with you and meet you, their director, their registrar right now, and some faculty members
Right.
who are very, very enthusiastic, and I think you will not face disappointment. I think that I can assure you.
Okay, well, very good. So I just want to open up these items for discussion while I'm getting, yeah.
I think we are running over time.
Right. But there was some question, last question that you have.
No, it was not a question, it was more of a point.
Right.
I think the government of India is more than receptive now to new ideas and even funding.
Right.
So the best way is sometimes when it comes from the top, it is easier for us to digest.
Right.
So I think that would be another idea.
Push strategy.
I certainly, wish Arun Verma and the entire delegation from India a great success in taking this opportunity to transform the institution that you are committed to, you are passionate about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can